Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another one of our slow openings. Today, we have the great pleasure of opening a complete box of Final Fantasy Play Boosters. I do also have a box of collector boosters and a regular bundle coming up later. I don't know if I'll have it in me to open the collector boosters since they have gone up so much in price, but let's see. Today we're going to do the entire Play Booster box. And as always on this channel, we take it slowly, we talk about the cards, we look at them, and we especially talk about them in the context of playing Commander, which is currently my favorite format. And so of course our hope is that we can get a lot of good cards for Commander that we can later on use to actually build a nice deck. I think we'll begin sorting and building decks in a couple of videos. We just need a slightly bigger pool of cards to do so. What's also worth noting is that I have never played Final Fantasy, which is strange. I've been an avid gamer for a number of years since my childhood, but it, for one reason or another, never appealed to me. But let's look at the cards. So in this one we have quite a nice art card. Don't know the character, but it's beautiful. And let's for the actual cards. So we have Hector Eyes Ooze Horror, 1 and a black, 1/1. When this creature enters, each opponent discards a card. In Commander, if you're doing this card, it could actually be good. Or decent at least. Airship Crash, 2 and a green, instant, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. In Limited, it's fine, not in Commander. Ice Magic, 1 and a blue, instant. Okay, so we have this new tiered mechanic, which looks a little bit like the spree mechanic from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, but you can only pick one, and luckily there's almost always a 0 option. So for 1 and a blue, you can return target creature to its owner's hand. If you pay 2 additional, it is target creature's owner puts it on their choice of the bottom or top of their library. And if you pay an additional 5 and a blue, so that's 6 and 2 blue in total, target creature's owner shuffles it into the library. Certainly too expensive for Commander. Haste Magic, 1 and a red, instant. Target creature gets 3+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it until your next end step. So this is potentially just good enough. Get a little bit of a combat boost and you get a card that you can play for a turn. Not too bad. 1 and a white. Slash of Light. Slash of Light deals damage equals to the number of creatures you control plus the number of equipment you control to target creature. It sounds okay, but there's so much better removal in white, so not worth it for Commander. Blitzball, 3 colorless, it's an artifact. Add 1 mana of any color, and then it has goal. Tap and sacrifice this artifact to draw 2 cards. Activate only if an opponent was dealt combat damage by a legendary creature this turn. So mana fixing in Limited is always nice. Is it good enough for Commander? It might be. Let's put it in the maybe pile. Ahriman, 2 and a black for 2/2 with flying and death touch, and then you can pay 3 to sacrifice another creature or artifact, draw a card. Probably too expensive, but source for drawing can always be worth it. Quisty's Trip, 2 and a blue, legendary creature, human wizard, 2/2. When it enters, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So once, unless you blink it, you can cast a spell again for An instant or sorcery again for its normal cost. There are probably better things out there, but I think it goes into the maybe pile. Sandworm, 4 and a red, creature worm, 5/4 haste. When this creature enters destroy target land, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Not good enough for commander. Battle menu, 1 and a white, instant. You can choose to either create a 2/2 white knight creature token. You can buff one of your creatures with +0/+4 until end of turn. You can destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Or you can gain 4 life. Probably not good enough, but the flexibility is nice. And then our first rare, the Masume. 3 colorless legendary artifact equipment. As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked if able. Equipped creature has, if creature dying causes a triggered ability of this creature or an emblem you own to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Okay, so quite a lot of potential to play around with this in decks focused on sacrificing or dying creatures in general. So yeah, definitely playable in Commander, just putting it in a rare pile up here. Oh, and then we have a Mythic. Absolute Virtue, 6 white and a blue, 4 and 8/8. Legendary creature, Avatar Warrior. This spell can be countered flying. You have protection from each of your opponents. You can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything controlled by your opponents. Okay, so of course in Commander, not being able to be targeted for discarding cards, milling, life loss, whatever your opponents are doing is quite powerful, but it is also super expensive to cast. So, interesting card. Unsure if it will actually turn out to be good. Then we have a Cloud of Darkness in foil, 2, a black and a green. Legendary creature, Avatar, flying. When Cloud of Darkness enters, target creature and opponent controls gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Probably fine in limited. I wouldn't use it in Commander. Then we have one of the new tapped townlands. This land enters tapped, and then you can pay blue or red. Not good enough in Commander unless you have something that specifically uses the town ability. So, decent first pack. Didn't get any of the special art treatments that are actually also available in the play boosters. So let's see if that happens the next time. We get a food token and then hero on the other side. It's actually quite impressed that we open an entire pack without anything that revolves around heroes. I'm sure there's going to be something in there. And we have the fat chocobo, quite nice. The new type of enchantment creatures that are also sagas, so that they will be sacrificed at the end step or when all of the lore counters have been put on it. But you can actually use them as creatures for a couple of turns. This one is 4 and a green. And the first ability, or the first step, it creates a 2/2 green bird creature token. With whenever a land you control enters, this token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So nice little landfall ability. And then on the remaining steps, creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. I'm guessing if you manage to do a lot of birds, and then they get trample, plus you play some lands, and then they become slightly bigger. Probably not good enough for Commander, but I'm putting it in the maybe pile. Dragoon's Viven, 2 and a blue for creature Drake, 2/1 flying. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. So we just talked about the tokens. This is not good enough for Commander. Light of Judgment, 4 and a red for an instant. Light of Judgment deals 6 damage to target creature. Destroy up to 1 equipment attached to that creature. So that's super specific. Probably good in sealed, because there's a lot of equipment in this set, but not good enough for Commander. Quite nice art. Oh, another. There are so many cards that uses the chocobos, and here's another one, the Summon Choco Mog for 2 and a white, a 3/3 enchantment creature. It has Stampede. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So a small buff, if you have a lot of creatures, can be good in limited. There's no trample or anything. I'm going to say that this is not good enough for Commander, so I'll put it in that pile. Shinra Reinforcements, 2 and a black for a 2/3 creature. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards and you gain 3 life. I'm unsure how many cards there are in Seal that actually return stuff from your graveyard. Could be good for that, not in Commander. The Ariman we already had. The Laughing Mad, 2 and a red instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards. Then it has Flashback for 3 and a red. So there are many of these cards that typically cost like 1 and a red, where you discard 1 and draw 2. This one is obviously more expensive, but it has Flashback, so it could have its uses. I'm guessing not, but it could have. Then we have Final Days. Oh, I'm unsure what the creature is on that one, but quite nice art. 2 and 2 black sorcery. Create 2 tapped 2/2 black horror creature tokens. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, instead create X of those tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Okay, so now we are potentially beginning to talk for Commander. If you have something where you want all your creatures to die or you mill a lot, then this could potentially create a lot of tokens. Definitely going in the maybe pile. Galloff's Final Act, 1 and a green instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains when this creature dies. Put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to its power on up to 1 target creature. Okay, so that's a interesting take on a combat trick. So you know your dude is likely to die, but then if it dies, you'll get some counters on something else. Could potentially actually be quite swingy if you manage to do it. Goes in the maybe pile. Unexpected Request, 2 and a red. Sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. You may attach an equipment you control to that creature. If you do, unattach it at the beginning of the next end step. In Commander, this could like really disturb things. Imagine taking somebody's commander who maybe has like a nice attack trigger, then you get to attack with it, and you already have a big equipment out that equips for free that also has some kind of ability. Could be fun swingy card. Then the rare in this pack, Memories Returning, 2 and 2 blue for sorcery. Reveal the top cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, then choose an opponent. They put 1 on the bottom of your library, then you put 1 into your hand, then they put 1 on the bottom of your library. Put the other into your hand. Okay, that's hard to read. So you reveal 5 cards, you take 1, they put 1 at the bottom, so that was 2. Then you take 1 into your hand, then they put 1 at the bottom, and then okay, so you get 3 cards in hand for 2 and 2 blue, and at least one of them is going to be your preferred cards, and then of course the results are going to be mixed. It has Flashback, a nice little bit of interaction. I think this could be fun in Commander. Here we get one of the special art versions, and it's actually on a rare. Nice. Yuffie Kisaragi, and then it's the original one was Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. 1, a blue and a black for a human ninja with 1/3, and it has Commander Ninjutsu. I'm unsure what it means when there's Commander in front of Ninjutsu, but basically Ninjutsu allows you to, if a creature goes unblocked, you can pay that cost, and then this would come in exchange for that creature. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. Okay, so let's say you have 2-3 ninjas and something else out attacking. They decide not to block because they don't deal a lot of damage. You ninjutsu this one in, and then you can actually, for every ninja that deals combat damage to a player, so potentially 3 times in that same turn, you reveal cards, and then opponents will lose life equal to that card's mana value, and it's each opponent. I mean, this could, depending on what gets drawn, could basically finish the game if played at the right time. This is actually super fun, and I do like the art. I'm guessing this is a reuse from one of the games. Quite nice. Oh, and then we actually also get a rare in the foil slot. Oh, and it's one of the full arts. Oh, this actually looks quite nice. Noctis, Prince of Lucis. A 1, a white, a blue, and a black for legendary 4/3 creature. Lifelink. You may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that artifact enters with a finality counter on it. So first of all, gorgeous card, and the foiling is actually very well done on this one. Never comes off good on camera, but so nice. Lifelink is always good. And then you can cast artifact spells from your graveyard if you pay life on top. So basically anything can come back into play as long as you have enough life at least once. Could be an interesting one to brew around, and especially with that art. Then we get a full art land. Unsure what the scene references. Looks like some kind of marsh settings with people in the middle and a crab. So nice looking. Put that full art land here. Okay, so I'm going to say that was an excellent pack, and some beautiful cards, certainly. I do hope that we pull more of those, I'm almost going to call it poster cards. Let's see this art card. So, character from the game. Nice. And then let's see what we get. Dreams of Laguna, 1 and a blue instant, surveil 1, then draw a card. So it's 1 and a blue to draw a single card, not necessarily super good, but again, surveil means that you can fix the draw a little bit. Certainly good in limited, might be good enough for Commander. Warrior's Thought, 3 and a red for an artifact equipment with job select, and this is one of the new abilities. So if something has job select, when you play it, it automatically creates the 1/1 hero token and attaches itself to it, so you get a dude or dudess to put it on. Then in this case, equipped creature gets +3/+2 and is a warrior in addition to its other types. Then it has equipped 5, so it's super expensive if you ever need to re-equip it. Not good enough for Commander, but in limited, definitely interesting. Weapons Vendor, 3 and a white, 2/2 human artificer. When this creature enters, draw a card. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an equipment, you may pay 1. When you do, attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. So basically, everything, or at least once per turn on the combat step, you can equip one thing for 1. So a card like the one before obviously becomes much more interesting. Still not good enough. In an equipment deck in Commander, this could be interesting. Fight on, 2 and a black instant. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Is on the expensive side, but I'm going to put it in the maybe pile. Blitzball Shot, 1 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. So many of these green cards around, so I'll put that in the non-commander pile. instant ramen. Okay, so they're just eating. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. 2 colorless artifact food flash. When this artifact enters, draw a card. 2 untap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 2 life. So the fact that it has flash is actually quite interesting for Commander, because you could hold this up and your opponent won't really know if you maybe have a counter spell or planning to kill something. But then if you don't do that, you still have the mana. Then at the end of their turn, you can play this and immediately draw a card. And if you maybe also count on artifacts, could be just good enough. Another Blitzball in the maybe pile. Renoa Heartily. 3, a green and a white. Legendary creature, human rebel, warlock, 4/4. When she enters, create an Angelo, a legendary 1/1 green and white dog creature token. So you get another body. And then whenever Rhinoa Heartily attacks another target creature you control, gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Oh, likely not good enough for Commander, that is, since it's not counters, but could be perhaps be fun. Then we have a cargo ship for 1 and a blue. Flying Vigilance 2/3. It taps to add colorless that can only be spent to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability of an artifact source. So basically it can also be used to equip. Cruise for 1. In the right deck, it could actually be ramp, and there's not a lot of that in blue, so it goes into the maybe pile. Then we have side quest, play Blitzball, 2 and a red. For an enchantment at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. At the end of combat on your turn, if a player was dealt 6 or more combat damage this turn, transform this enchantment, then attach it to a creature you control. Okay, so this gives +2, so you might only need a couple of creatures in play. And then let's see what it transforms into. World Champion, Celestial Weapon, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has double strike. Not an amazing transform, I must say. Double strike, though, can be powerful. Let's put it in the maybe pile. Then we have our next rare, Summoner's Grimoire, 3 and a green, artifact equipment, job select, again creates a hero when it enters and attaches. Equipped creature is a shaman in addition to its other types, and has, whenever this creature attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If that card is an enchantment card, it enters tapped and attacking. So playing something for free from your hand can always be super powerful, especially if you have expensive stuff and you can get to do it multiple times over several turns if it isn't dealt with. The equip cost is not too unreasonable. I mean, let's say you equip it to even a very small thing, you attack, then you play something from your hand that costs 8 or 9 for free. That's a super win-win. That's a nice one. Oh, and we get another rare in this pack as well. Xenos Ye Galvus, 3 and 2 black. Nice art, nice pink sword there. For 4/4 legendary creature. When Xenos enters, choose a creature an opponent controls. Until end of turn, creatures other than Xenos and the chosen creature get -2/-2. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform Xenos. So it's a wipe on small things. So could be like some of the mana dogs. Somebody's playing tokens with prowess that haven't gotten big. You remove all of those, and then if you manage to deal with the one thing that may be remaining, you get Shinryu, Transcendent Rival, 8/8 dragon with flying. And then you choose a single opponent, and when the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. Yeah, so that's interesting. So in Commander, this is like kind of fun. You can do politics with it. Interesting. I'm not sure if it's strong, but it's definitely interesting. Oh, and then another one. So that was like 3 rares in this pack. Nice. Jill, Shiva's Dominant, 2 and a blue. For a legendary creature, that's a 2/2. When Jill enters, return up to one other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So bounce can always be useful. And then you can pay 3 and 2 blue and tap it to exile it and return it transformed. And it returns as Shiva, Warden of Ice. That initially target creature can't be blocked, and then tap all lands your opponents control, exile Shiva, then return it to the battlefield. So you can get some things through that will not be blocked, and then on the third step, basically you can be guaranteed that your opponents don't have mana, or I mean, of course they could have treasure tokens or similar, but so you have a turn that's like kind of uninterrupted. Not super strong on the surface, but maybe it can be built around. Then we have another town. Again, just a land that enters tapped. Good color fixing for sealed. Not good in Commander unless you need the towns, but beautiful art. Okay, I think we've hit quite a number of packs that have multiple rares or mythics in them already. I think that's nice. Wonder if that's just a thing for this set, or we have a wizard token, also quite prevalent in this set, and the bird token that we talked about earlier. I love the presence of all of the birds. Let's see what we got on the front. Resentful Revelation, 1 and a black. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So it's draw 1, but it's the best one out of 3. It is sorcery speed though, so for that reason I'm putting it in the not playable pile. Grand Pulse Ochu, 1 green for 1/1 Death Touch, and then you can pay 8 until the end of turn. This creature gets +1/+1 for each permanent card in your graveyard. I mean, Death Touch is always a excellent blocker, stops aggressive decks, but with no real room to grow, yeah, not good enough. Quiquian Merchant, okay, weird name. 2 and a blue for 1/4 Beast Citizen. Pay 1 and tap to draw a card, then discard a card. 7 and tap you could to sacrifice it, and then you draw 3 cards. And this ability costs 1 less to activate for each town you control. So it's not strong enough for Commander. I think in Sealed, if you have multiple towns, maybe barely. Light of Judgment, we already had that one. Dwarven Castle Guard, 1 and a white creature, Dwarf Soldier, 2/1. When this creature dies, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. Something that replaces itself as a blocker is always good, even in standard sometimes. Is it good enough in Commander? I don't think so. Quite nice art. Then we have Lunatic Pandora, 1 for legendary artifact, and then you can pay 2 and tap it to surveil 1, and 6 and tap it to sacrifice it and destroy target non-land permanent. So this is not bad for 1. It gives you something to play. You can fix your draw a little bit. You can put stuff in your graveyard. Not amazing, but good enough to keep. Then we have Crossroads Village, land town. This land enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color. Add 1 mana of the chosen color. Yeah. Good in Sealed, probably not in Commander. Elixir, 1 colorless artifact. This artifact enters tapped, and then at a later point you can exile it for 5 and tapping it to shuffle all non-land cards from your graveyard into your library. You gain life equal to the number of cards shuffled into your library this way. Okay, so if you have something where if you gain life, your opponents lose life, or other life link triggers perhaps, then could be interesting. As I think it goes into the maybe pile. Then we have Dark Knight's Greatsword, 2 and a black, job select. Equipped creature gets 3+0, and there's a knight in addition to its other types. And then I think the most interesting part about this one is that you pay life, not mana, to equip it. When I played in the Final Fantasy pre-release, that actually turned out to be quite nice, because if you're like just a little bit ahead, you typically have life on hand, but not mana, so you can kind of use this to push ahead if you know you can get an extra hit in. For Commander, I'm going to say that it's not good enough. Then we have Garland, Knight of Cornelia, a black and a red, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil 1, it's a 3/2. You can pay a lot of mana to return it from your graveyard, transformed as Chaos the Endless, legendary creature demon, flying. And then when it dies, the card goes into the bottom of its owner's library. Could be barely good enough for Commander. It's certainly cheap. Oh, and then our first rare, Dion, Bahamut's Dominant, 3 and a white for legendary creature, 3/3. During your turn, Dion and other knights you control have flying. Okay, that's certainly powerful. When Dion enters, creates a 2/2 white knight creature token. So you basically get 2 knights totaling 5 power and 5 toughness, and both of them have flying on your turn. And then you can pay 4 and 2 white and tap this to exile it and return it to the battlefield transformed. Let's see what we get. Bahamut, Warden of Light. The first 2 chapters puts up +1/+1 count on each other creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until end of turn. And then the final one is destroy target permanent. Then you exile it and return it to the battlefield. So I think the font side might be the most exciting one. But even the back side is good. Definitely playable in some deck. Then we have Baron Rivalry, 1 and a black, and it's a reprint of Deadly Dispute. So it's an instant as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. So you could say that you spend 2 mana to get 1 mana and draw 2. That's quite decent, and the art on this one is very beautiful. That's definitely going to go into a deck. Oh, and then we got another Garland, Knight of Cornelia, but in foil. And then another town. Yeah, so a nice little jungle town, perhaps it looks like. All right. So many playable cards, at least. I think that's nice. I have opened sets before where it felt like most of it was draft chaff, which is also nice. I do love to draft or play limited, but it's also nice to get some cards that you can use after. Oh, she's quite beautiful. Looks like some kind of wizard. Then we have Balam T. Rexor for 4 and 2 green, quite expensive, 6/6. It's a dinosaur's trample. When this creature enters, you gain 3 life, and then it has forest cycling. Discard this card, search your library for a forest card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So do notice that it says forest, not basic land. And there are dual lands that also have forest as a type, as well as some others. So you could basically have this in your deck just to have some ramp available if you need it, but then it can also be a dinosaur. This could be good enough for Commander simply because of that flexibility. That's quite nice. Then we have a Scorpion Sentinel, 1 and a blue for 1/4. As long as you control 7 or more lands, this creature gets +3/+0. Oh, I'm not sure if that's even playable in sealed. Not good. Mysidian Elder, 2 and a white for a 1/3 human wizard. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you get a blocker, you get a wizard token. In sealed, it's good. I think in Commander, it's probably not enough unless you're depending on the wizards. I'll keep it in there for that reason. Slash of Light, 1 and a white, and it deals damage equal to a number of... We had that one. It'll just go into the no thank you pile. Namazo Trader, 3 and a black for Fish Citizen. 3 and 4. When this creature enters, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, surveil 1. Could be playable in limited. I don't see it in Commander. Blitzball again in the maybe pile. Instant Ramen, also maybe pile. Shantoto, Tactician Magician. Oh, that almost rhymes. 1, a blue, and a red for Dwarf Wizard 0/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Shantoto gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. If X is 4 or more, draw a card. So if you're really slinging spells, and you may need something with the wizard type, this is interesting. It's not extremely powerful, but fun to build around, I think. Then Cloud of Darkness, we already had in the foil, I believe. I don't think that will see any play. Crystal Fragments, 1 white for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Then you can pay 5 and 2 white to exile it. Okay, a lot. Big investment. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Okay, interesting. So they will still die to destroy or exile, but not through combat. And tap all creatures your opponents control. Okay, so it's not an entirely useless transform, but quite expensive. It's super cheap to cast initially with a little bit of a benefit. It's cheap enough to re-equip. Yeah, I think it's in the maybe pile. Oh, then we have our nice full art here, even though it's uncommon. Summon GF Ifrit, 2 and a red. Beautiful art. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And then on the final chapters, it has add 1 red. Yeah, I think this could totally see play. There's also like a demon deck where you need demons to not lose life. Yeah, and I do like the art. That's nice. Then we have the Earth Crystal. 2 and 2 green. Legendary artifact. Green spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead. So kind of like a doubling season, although it of course doesn't double tokens, but all counters plus everything green gets cheaper to cast. This one is awesome, and you can actually, if you have mana that you can't use, you can actually also use it to add counters. This would fit in almost any green deck, I think, but certainly a nice one. Precious Wandering. Search your library for basic land card or town card. Put it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle. When you search your library this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Oh, might be too expensive for ramp, but it is an instant, and you also get a counter. And as we've seen, the towns can have a lot of varied abilities that you may need. So I think this goes into the maybe pile. Oh, and then we have a dual town, Insomnia, Crown City. Some dark high rises on that one. So, I mean, basically looking at the card before, you could, fetch some kind of duel that you need. So it's not. It is actually an interesting one. Okay, so I really like that Earth Crystal. That's definitely something that it's possible to build around. Oh, let's look at the hero. So another female hero, and then a treasure token. And then we have Namazu Trader. We had that one, not good enough for Commander. Gigantoad, yeah, maybe. A 3 and a green for 4/4. As long as you control 7 or more lands, this creature gets +2/+2. Not good enough for Commander. Scorpion Sentinel, had that one. Red Mage's Rapier. So Rapier is the sword. I'm unsure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. 1 and a red, has job select. Equipped creature has, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and is a wizard in addition to its other types. Good in sealed for sure if you have anything that works with the wizard. And we saw another wizard, so it goes into the maybe pile. White Aura Sight, 2 and 2 white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. And then you can tap it to add a white. Don't typically this effect costs 2 and 1 white. In this case, it costs 1 more, but you can tap it immediately. So you get that white one back, unless it dies, and then you can get the white one every turn after this. Could be just barely playable in Commander if you also care about artifacts. I think interesting. It's just on that interesting borderline. Syncopath, X and a blue. For an instant, counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So exiling something is super good as opposed to it going into the graveyard. Of course, it doesn't work for the commander, will work for a bunch of other stuff. And then you can kind of like decide a little bit at what point are you in the game, how much do you think you need to pay on top. And of course, the more expensive thing that your opponent is casting, the less likely they are to be able to pay the cost. And it is spell, so it's anything. I think that's good enough for Commander. It's definitely interesting. Then we have Monk's Fist, 2 colorless, job select, equipped creature gets +1/+0, and there's a monk in addition to its other types. Not good enough for Commander. I think the art reminds me, I don't know, a little bit of Street Fighter. Then we have Ride the Shupoof, 1 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So it's only on 1 creature, and then you can pay 5 and 2 green, and it becomes a 7/7 beast creature in addition to its other types. So is 1 and a green too much to get potentially a +1/+1 every turn, but you could have something that return lands. Might be barely playable in the right deck in Commander. Then we have Sack Fair, a 1 for a 0/1, but then it comes in with a counter on it. And you can pay 1 to sacrifice it, and target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And then the counters from this one goes on the creature that gets protected, and if any equipment was attached to this one, it can also go onto that creature. I mean, the fact that you can sacrifice it to protect something else is already nice. It could have more counters, could be a bit swingy. Maybe not super good, but interesting. Thieves' Knife, 2 and a blue for an artifact with job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And there's a rogue in addition to its other types. The re-equip cost is too high, otherwise it could be interesting. Then we have Freya Crescent, 1 for 1/1, and then it taps for 1 that can be spent to cast equipment or activate an equip ability. And on our turn, Freya Crescent has flying. It's a super good uncommon, could definitely be played in the right deck. Then we have a rare Gilgamesh, Master at Arms, 4 and 2 red, quite expensive, but also a mean looking samurai coming in, 6/6. Whenever it enters or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of equipment cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you put 1 or more equipments onto the battlefield this way, you may attach 1 of them to a samurai you control. Okay, if you have an equipment-heavy deck, this is super good. Obviously, just get a lot of stuff into play. Requires you being a little bit lucky. But then also, if some of that equipment even has job select, they come in with their own dudes or dudettes attached to them. And of course, if you have a powerful equipment in play, or any of the ones that you come in are good, you can attach them also to this guy right here. Yeah, very interesting. Nice one. Then we have Retrieve the Esper in foil, a 3 and a white. Sorcery, create a 3/3 blue robot warrior artifact creature token. Then if this spell was cast from a graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on that token. A little bit of flashback is always good, but I'm going to say this is not strong enough for Commander. Then we get our second full art land. Okay, so that's some type of creepy bird or dragon nested on the top of a cliff or something. I don't know. Does look nice. All right. Very many good cards. We may speed up as we see more and more cards that we've already seen, like the Gigantotoad. Sage's Nulits, 1 and a blue. Artifact equipment, job select. Creature gets +1/+0, has whenever this creature attacks, untap target attacking creature, and it's a cleric in addition to its other types. Yeah, could, if you have something where you really need the extra tap, it could be interesting. I'm guessing not. And this was the one that made something wizard, that was good. White mage's staff, 1 and a white. Artifact equipment, job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life, and there's a cleric in addition to its other types. So it's just gives something lifelink basically, or just a single lifelink, and then it re-equips for 3, too expensive. Quotrop Forayer, 2 and a black for zombie horror, 3/2. When this creature enters, choose 1, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Not good enough for commander. Low Porridge Scout, 2 and a black. Rapid Scout, 3/2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Since it's end of turn, it's not for commander. Could be okay in the right standard deck, maybe. World Map, 1. You can pay 1 more and tap it to sacrifice it and search for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into a hand, and then shuffle. So it's basically 2 to find any basic land. It's okay. And then you can pay 2 more if it's any land, not just basic. Could be good enough in some deck, unsure. Chocobo Racetrack, 3 and 2 green for an artifact that has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 2/2 green creature token with whenever a land you control enters, this token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Unsure if this is strong enough in a landfall deck, but interesting enough to keep. Random encounter, 4 and 2 reds. Shuffle your library, then mill 4 cards. Put each creature card milled this way onto the battlefield. They gain haste. At the beginning of the next end step, return those creatures to their owner's hand. So if you're playing something that's creature heavy and ETB heavy, then you can mill 4. Maybe there are 2 things in there. You play them. Could be like an Italy. You get their ETBs. They have haste. They come back to your hand. You can play them again. The right deck. This could be interesting, and it even has flashback. And we have a Delivery Moogle for 3 and a white. Flying, when this creature enters, search your library and or graveyard for an artifact card with mana value 2 or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So 3 and a white for a 3/2 flyer, and then it tutors a small artifact, but it also goes from the graveyard. Guessing it's not good enough for commander, but for the flexibility, it goes into the maybe pile. Then we have Albet Salvagers, 2 and a black for 2/3 human artificer warrior. Whenever this creature or another creature artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. The fact that it says target opponent and not each opponent is a little bit disappointment, but then again, it's not only creatures, it's also artifacts. So let's say you're playing something with treasure tokens as well, this can ping them. And of course, targeting also triggers committing a crime from other sets. Might be just interesting enough. Oh, then we have Ultima Origin of Oblivion, 5 for 4/4. Legendary creature god with flying. When it attacks, put a blight counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and abilities and has tap to add a colorless. And whenever you tap a land for colorless, add an additional colorless. So in a colorless deck, this could be interesting, and it can mess a little bit with your opponent's lands. And I think the effect from the blight counter stays even if this god is removed. but it also requires you attacking. Might be playable in the right thing, unsure. Then we have Magitech Infantry. 1 for 1/1. This creature gets +1/+1 as long as you control another artifact. Then you can search for more of these. It goes into the battlefield. So not for commander. Unsure if there's any benefit of doing this in standard or something. Let me get another of these simple dual towns. And a bird token. Okay, not the best pack so far in terms of interesting cards for commander, but there are so many interesting ones in this set. So we get another wizard token with a different hero on the back. Then we have a magic damper for 1 blue. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap it. So your opponent didn't expect you to be able to block. Now you can, or they targeted you, but now they can't. I think this could be playable in commander. We had this one already. Paladin at Arms, 2 and a white for an artifact equipment. Job select. An equipped creature gets +2/+1, has ward 1, and is a knight in addition to its other types. If you're playing something where knights matter, then maybe. Then it has an equip of 4, which is quite expensive. I'm going to say that is not good enough. Commander, Black Mage's Rod is the one that also makes wizards, so could be. Commune with Beavers. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So look at 3, put 1 into your hand. Doesn't trigger draw, and it is sorcery speed, so not good enough. Magic Pot, 3 artifact creature, 1 and a 4. When it dies, you create a treasure token, and you can pay 2 and tap it to exile target card from a graveyard. Might be barely playable. Sometimes you just need some extra artifacts. Already had one of the Crossroads. Opera Love Song, 1 and a red for an instant, where you can choose to either exile the top 2 cards of your library, and then you may play those cards until your next end step, or 1 or 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 until end of turn. So let's say you have a wizard that would trigger. This could make it bigger. It can also function as draw. Might be just flexible enough to warrant playing commander. Circle of Power, 3 and a black. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Wizard you control gets +1/+0 and gain lifelink until end of turn. It's sorcery. I think it's too expensive. Dragoon's Lands, 1 and a white with job select. Artifact equipment gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. And during your turn, equipped creature has flying, so of course flying is good, but it's super expensive to equip. Diamond Weapon, 7 and 2 green, super expensive, but it costs 1 less to cast for each permanent card in your graveyard. That might make it interesting for commander, and it is an artifact creature. And you prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. And it has reach. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to deal with once you play it. Could be good in a commander. Oh, Clive's Hideaway, Land Town, Hideaway 4. Hideaway is always good. So let's say you hide away something that costs 8, then you can actually just pay 2 and tap it. If you control 4 more legendary creatures, that's interesting in a legendaries meta deck. Certainly interesting. Cornered by Black Mages. Like the flavor on that one. 1 and 2 black for sorcery. Target opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell. This token deals 1 damage to each opponent. I don't think that's good enough for Commander. And then we have another nice swamp. All right, next let's continue with our next pack. Still a lot of packs left. Haven't hit a lot of mythics, but I guess there's still hope. A copy token with some knight looking on it and another hero on the back. And let's see what we get. Reinforcements we had. The dinosaur that find a forest for. This one we had. Thunder Magic. 1 red. Then it has the tiered instant. Thunder Magic deals 2 damage to target creature, so just a regular shock, but then you can pay more. I do think it becomes too expensive. White Mage's Staff we had. Adventurers in Land Town. When this land enters, you gain 2 life. Sometimes that's very important in Sealed. Probably not in Commander, but you never know if the towns matter. Then you have Iron Giant, 7 colorless, 6/6 Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Big, mean things, always important in Sealed. Commander less so. Sid, Timeless Artificer. 2, a white and a blue. For legendary 4/4 creature. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid, Timeless Artificer. So it's important to notice that the ability doesn't actually affect Sid himself. Apparently there are, but there are more arts for this. I'm hearing above 10. And also you can cycle it to draw a card. Could certainly be interesting for Commander. The Gold Saucer. Land Town. Tap for colorless. You can pay 2 and tap it to flip a coin to potentially get a treasure token. And then you can sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw cards. There are some decks in Commander where you just wanna flip coins, and so this will trigger a coin flip, which could be good for that type of deck, but also it's not something that you'll get to use a lot. Then we have Reno and Rude, 1 and a black for 2/1 Assassin with Menace. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. Then you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, you may play the exile card this turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. So you can steal a card from your opponent, but you will have to sacrifice something, and you will... is there a deck where this is good enough? I am very unsure. Yeah, I'm going to say no and put it in that pile. Then we have Rufus Shinra, 1 a white and a black. So, okay, so he both has a weapon and an evil dog. Human Noble, 2/4. Whenever it attacks, if you don't control a creature named Darkstar, create Darkstar, legendary 2/2 white and black dog creature token. So whenever you attack, you get a token. That's nice. It's a blocker. It is legendary, so if it's not dead, you won't get another one. Could still trigger some enters effect, but also it's only when you attack, and it's only a 2/4. Say barely playable in Commander, so let's put it in the maybe pile. Summon Titan, 3 and 2 black, and for an enchantment creature, Sega Giant with Reach and Trample, 7/7. So you mill 5 cards, then you return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Then until end of turn, another target creature you control gains Trample and gets X+X, where X is the number of lands you control. So in a landfall deck, could be fun. Very swingy in that scenario, potentially. Suplex, 1 and a white. choose one. Suplex deals 3 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So getting something to be exiled instead of just going to the graveyard is important enough that I'll put this in the maybe pile. And then another dual town. Yeah, nice. So the Titan could certainly be fun. Don't think I've actually ever built a landfall deck. So that could be a thing. Especially if we pull some more of the fun chocobos. Have a treasure token and even another kind of hero tokens. I wonder how many of those there are. Airship Crash we had. Queen Merchant we had. Thunder Magic we had. You're Not Alone, 1 white, instant, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more creatures, it gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So a combat trick. Yeah, it only costs 1, so it could be interesting, but I don't think it's actually good. Then we have this one where you look at 2, at 3 at sorcery speed, not good enough. Gigas 4 and 2 red for 5/4 trample and haste. It has mountain cycling, which can be good. It has a giant, which is a rare creature type. I'm still going to say it's not good enough. Ultras Obnoxious Octopus for 1 and a blue for 2/1. Whenever I cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, tap target creature and opponent's control and put a stun counter on it. Whenever I cast a non-creature spell, if at least 8 mana was spent to cast it, put 8 +1/+1 counters on Ultras. So it's a cheap commander to get into play. You can stun some things so that they don't come swinging at you, and then at a later point, if you cast something really big, this one becomes big. Might be barely playable, and at least it is a mean-looking octopus. Then we have Sidan, Tantalus Thief. 3 a red and a white for 3/3. When it enters, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it. It gains lifelink and haste. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, you create a treasure token. Yeah, so basically you will get a treasure token, I guess, when you return the thing you just gained control of. If it returns, you get to attack with it immediately. But it's only when enters, not when it attacks. I do think it's not good enough, but I'm still going to put it in the maybe pile just in case. Then we have Tifa's Limit Break, a green instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Then you can pay 2 more and double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. And Final Heaven, 6 and a green to triple target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. So this can both be used in defense and offense. Of course, you are attacking with a 5/5. They have 10 life left. They feel they're safe. Then you spend 8 mana to cast this. So quite expensive. The middle one, where you pay 1 and 2 colorless to double power and toughness, might barely be good enough. So because of that, I'm just going into the maybe pile. Adalbert Steiner, 1 and a white for 2/1 human knight with lifelink, and it gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. Yeah, could be interesting. Then the rare Cypher Almasi, 3 and a red for legendary creature human knight, 3/4. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target instance a sorcery card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So you pay 3 and a red, and anything that attacks alone, even at that same turn, gets double strike. And then if this one deals combat damage, you can play a card for free from your graveyard. Only instant or sorcery. I think it's hard to build around, but could be fun. Oh, we get another one of these nice full arts. An uncommon Vanadil Adventures, a reprint of Laboratory Maniac. 2 and a blue for creature, human wizard, 2/2. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. Yeah, playable. If you are planning to mill. Then we get a Giant King of Dwarfs, red and a white for Dwarf Noble 1/1 with double strike. Whenever it or another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I like drawing cards, so yeah, playable. And a nice full art island. So we haven't seen true like basic land in the non-full art, so I'm guessing there are none of those in this set maybe. So in fact all of these full art lands are just regular lands. I don't know if that's a land art inflation or whatever you want to call it. This one we have an art card. Oh, I don't know this scene. I'm guessing it would be popular with Final Fantasy players. Quite nice. Then we get Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum 2 and a blue for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant artifact or creature. When this aura enters, tap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap end step, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So basic blue removal, not good enough for commander. Sabotender 1 and red for a creature plant with reach. It's 2/1, and whenever a land you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Yeah, playable in landfall, nice. Summon Shogomog, we had that one. We had this one, Bard's Bow. 2 and a green, artifact equipment, job select, equipped creature gets +2/+2, has reach, and is a bard in addition to its other types. Something that can block flyers, that's nice, but the re-equip cost is prohibitively expensive at 6. Then we have Luporid Scout, and we had that one. This one might still be playable. Ether, 3 and a blue for an artifact. You can tap to exile it, you add 1 blue, and when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I mean, at the right point in time, with a little bit of investment, this can be a game changer. So I'm going to put that in the maybe pile for sure. Self-destruct, or 1 and a red. Oh wow, there's a lot of fire on that one. Instant target creature control deals X damage to any other target and X damage to itself, where X is its power. So it could be interesting in the recent Absan deck, where you have a lot of big bots, so creatures with a lot of toughness, not a lot of power. Then it also wouldn't deal. I don't know. Might be interesting enough. It wasn't too expensive. Demon Wall. 1 and a black for a 3/3 creature with Defender, Menace. As long as this creature has a counter on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Then you can pay 5 and a black to put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Not good enough. It's cheap, but I don't think it's good enough. The Lunar Whale, 3 and a blue. Legendary artifact vehicle, a 3/5. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Always nice. As long as it attacks this turn, you may play the top card of your library, and it accrues for just 1. Could be good in the right deck. Oh, then we get a full art rare on this spot. Image Cells Ashen, 4 and Phyrexian, which I believe you can pay with either black or life. Could also be either white or life, I can't remember. Do like the art. It's a reprint of Krieg, son of Yorkmoth. Legendary creature, Phyrexian horror minion, 2/2 with lifelink. For each black in a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Image Cells. So if you have something with lifelink and then you can like quickly go off because you get basically then infinite mana. I mean, this is potentially super good. It's also very expensive, so probably not a commander, but certainly fun to have in a deck. I really like that one, and again, this almost poster style is very beautiful. Another Friar Crescent and another Town of Ruin. Okay, that was a beautiful card. Still somewhat low on mythics, but we're also only halfway through or so. So let's see. We had this one. This one was maybe playable. We had this one that was maybe playable. Wayne's Treachery, 1 and a black. Instant kicker, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets -6/-6 until end of turn instead. So this actually goes around indestructible, but it also becomes expensive. I could see it. Seeing some plain standard, probably not in Commander. Monk's Fist we had. Ventures In we had. Realms Sketching 2 and 2 blue for sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. That is very flexible, and you can copy very big things. Yeah, playable. Would have been nice if it was an instant, but even at sorcery, that's playable. Poison the Waters, 1 and a black. For sorcery, choose 1. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards that card. Sorcery, I'm going to say not good enough. Certainly not for Commander. Fang, Fearless Eyes, 2 and a black. Interesting art with that staff, and it looks like almost some underwater chaos. Legendary creature, Human Warrior, 2/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. Interesting. And then it melts. Yeah. So together with another card, it can turn into this one. Let's see if we get the other half. So the other half is called Vanilla Cheerful Lies. So let's put it here to see if we actually get the other part. Then we have a rare Joshua Phoenix Dominant. 1 a red and a white for 3/4 human noble wizard. When it enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. And then you can pay 3 a red and a white and tap it and transform it into Phoenix Warden of Fire. Deals 2 damage to each opponent in the first 2 chapters, and then you can return any number of target creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sounds okay, at least for Commander, that you can build around a little bit. You get some card draw. You also get to discard stuff, so actually put stuff in your graveyard that can then be played later if you transform it. Yeah, interesting hit. Not sure if it's strong, but it's interesting. Then we get the Buster Sword. A mythic, 3 colorless artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2, not a lot. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. So if a big thing hits, you can cast something for free. The re-equip is only 2. Or actually, that's also the initial equip. There's no job select on this one. Yeah, interesting. Could be good. Could also turn out to be not as good as it looks. 3 and a blue for a Rook Turret. 3/3 artifact creature construct. Whenever another artifact you control enters, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Might be that could be interesting in a Mendicant Core deck, maybe. And then we actually have the first foil land. One of the swarms. Looks nice. Then a bird token. Okay, so Buster's Sword was a mythic. Don't know if it's one of the best ones, but it was certainly an interesting one. And we go for the Sage Rulets. We had that one. That was the Cleric. Was not good enough. Mysidian Elder. You're Not Alone. Heck Dice. Airship Crash was not good enough. Adventures Airship was barely good enough. Laughing Mad, 2 and a red instant as an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard a card, draw 2 cards. We also had that one. Might be barely playable. Omega Heartless Evolution, 5 a green and a blue for an 8/8 artifact creature robot. That's also legendary. When it enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that opponent control. Put X stun counters on each of those permanents, and you gain X life, where X is the number of non-basic lands you control. So if you have 4 non-basic lands, this enters. For each opponent, you get to stun something for 4 turns, and you gain 4 life. It's probably too expensive, but there might also be something that I'm missing here, so it goes into the maybe pile. Snow Villiers. This power equal to a number of creatures you control. Can be good in Commander. Side quest, card collection, 3 and a blue. Enchantment, when this enchantment enters, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, if 8 or more cards are in your graveyard, transform this enchantment. And then it becomes a flying 4/4 with crew 1 artifact vehicle. Might be barely playable, I'm not sure. And then we have Exteeth Void Warlock, 1 a black and a green for legendary creature, 3/3. When it enters, you gain 3 life. At the beginning of your end step, if there are 6 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, transform Exteeth. And cards in your graveyards in Golgari is likely Neo Exteeth, Dimensions End, Spirit Avatar, Trample, Neo Exteeth powers equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Might be too expensive, might be okay, I don't know. Then we have Lusoix Sacrifice, 1 blue for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a legendary creature or pay 2. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. Since this will in many situations, especially in Commander, only require 1 blue, this is super powerful. So yeah, good rare there. Gisel's green, a 1 and a green, and you get one of the bird creature tokens. Putting it in a maybe for the land. Fall deck, another town, and yet another hero token. This looks a little bit like a witch, maybe like a nice witch, and a horror creature token on the back. Nice. Okay, so of course in the commons and uncommon slots, we're starting to see some repeats. That's not unexpected. Also allows us to go a bit faster over those. Oh, a 4 and a blue for an elemental loot, 5/4. Yes, we had that one. Had the island cycling. Summon Gifrid. A Cloud Moogle. Curl. 1 and a white for a cat beast with 2/2. You can pay 1 and a white and tap it to tap target non-enchantment creature. Not good enough. Green Bane. 2 and a red for human noble with prowess. And it also creates a wizard token. Yeah, might be good enough. Reach the horizon, 3 and a green. Sorcery speed. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or town cards with different names. Put them onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle. 2. It's a little bit too expensive, kind of, but it's also flexible, so I'm going to put it in the maybe pile. We have side quest, Raise a Chocobo. Enchantment, when it enters, create a 2/2 green bird creature token. And at the beginning of your first main phase, if you control 4 or more birds, transform this enchantment, and it turns into the black chocobo creature bird. And then you get to search your library for land card, goes onto the battlefield, so it triggers, and it has the same trigger as the other birds. I like it for that chocobo landfall deck. Then we have Summon GF Cerberus for 2 and 2 red. First ability, Surveil 1. Then the next instant or sorcery spell will get copied. Nice. And then when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it twice. Wow. Yeah. Potentially super powerful, especially in storm decks. I like it. Oh, and then we have a mythic, Go-Go Master of Mimicry, 2 and a blue. It's a 2/4 wizard. And you can pay 2 of any color and tap it to copy target activated or triggered ability you control X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. This ability can't be copied and X can be 0. So that's quite interesting. Let's say you have something that taps without any cost, and then you have 4 open mana, then you can copy it twice, so you get to do it 3 times. I mean, that's super, potentially super powerful if you build around it. Yeah, nice pull. Then we have Van Sparring Sky Pirate, 2 and a red, and it's a reprint of Captain Lamery Storm. It's a legendary creature, human pirate. Pirates are always a nice tribal deck. Haste, whenever it attacks, create a treasure token. And whenever you sacrifice a treasure, Van gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Barely playable, but I like it. Oh, and we also got the Cactuar. 1 green for 3/3 with trample. And then the interesting thing is that at the beginning of your end step, if this creature didn't enter the battlefield this turn, return it to its owner's hand. So every other turn you get to play it. If you have something where you get counters when creatures enters, and of course it can enter like really, really early. So certainly good in Shield. Might also be good in Commander. And then we get a foil town. Oh, and an art card with the signature. Printed signature, yeah. So beautiful wizard, whatever she is right there. Yeah, so I guess we are approaching halfway through the box. I haven't really counted. It feels like we've been opening a lot, but that's what happens when we talk about as much about the cards as we do. Oh, Sephiroth's Intervention, 3 and a black for an instant. Destroy target creature. You gain 2 life. Too expensive for Commander. Nice and sealed. Commune with Beavers. And maybe pile. Dreams of Laguna. 1 on blue. Yeah, we had that one. Surveil 1. Yeah, maybe. Blazing Bomb. 1 for 1/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And then you can tap it to sacrifice it, and it deals damage equal to its power to target creature. And it's an elemental. Yeah, it's fun. I don't think it's good enough. Weapons Winter, 3 and a blue, 3 and a white. Sorry, when it enters, draw a card. And then we have the cheap equip. Yeah, maybe pile. Magitech Infantry, Town Greeter. Where you get a land into your hand and also gain life. Yeah, maybe. Sleep Magic. When this aura enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. With enchanted creatures, they'll damage, sacrifice this aura. So yeah, okay. So if it actually still damage somehow, then this is a move. It's quite cheap, so I will put it in the maybe pile. Phoenix Down. 1 white for an artifact, and then you can pay 1 white and tap it to exile it, and then you can return target creature card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard. So for 3 in total, you get something back from your graveyard, or you can exile a target skeleton, spirit, or zombie. Unsure about the importance of the flexibility, but fun. Geode we had. Hope is time. 1 and a blue for legendary creature human wizard with 2/2 lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X card, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Fun to build around in Commander for sure. We have the Iron Giant again. Beautiful mountain. Has a little bit of the Lord of the Rings feel to it actually, this one. Walking inside the lava. And then we have a art card swinging a big sword. Apparently that's a big thing in Final Fantasy. Looking at all of the stuff we've pulled, all of the artifacts and big pieces of equipment. As mentioned, I've not played a single one of the games, but that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy the art and enjoy the cards. Ice Magic, 1 and a blue. Yeah, this one was not good enough. Haste Magic is Might. Slash of Light, not good enough. Okay, makes sense that we're starting to see a lot of repeats in common and uncommon. Relentless XATM 092. 6 colorless for 6/5. Can only be blocked by 3 creatures or more. And you can return it from your graveyard. Too expensive for Commander. The Coral Sword. Because it has, okay, it actually has flash. And then a creature gains first strike and +1/+0. Yeah, might be barely playable. Yeah, certainly interesting. Eject 3 and a blue. This spell can't be countered. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Draw a card. You can use it on your own stuff. Yeah, interesting. Redia's returned 3 and 2 green. Creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn, or you can return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand, so not to the battlefield. Not good enough for Commander. Sash Catsroy, 3 and a green for legendary creature human pilot, 3/3. When it enters, you may search your library for a bird or basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And when it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. So in the bird landfall deck, maybe some tutoring or ramp in green is always appreciated. Could be interesting. Then we have a reprint of Farseek, Newfound Adventure, 1 and a green to search your library for plain, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield, tapped and shuffle. Again, it's important. This is not only basic, it's anything with that type. So it's certainly playable. Then we have Gratia, 4 and a white for Cat Archer. 3/5 has reach, and whenever one or more creatures and or artifacts you control die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Probably too expensive, but I haven't seen many Cat Archers, so let me put it in the maybe pile. A nice foil swamp. Also some cave with a waterfall theme there. Nice. And then a bird and a wizard token. Yeah, I think my head is already spinning with some ideas. And then we have Chocobo Kick, 1 and a green. Sorcery, return a land you control to its owner's hand. So you can re-trigger landfall even if you don't have a land in hand. And then target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. If this spell was kicked, the creature you control deals twice that much damage. It is sorcery speed, but also you might want to play the land again. In a landfall deck, maybe the Chocobo deck, it could be good enough. Rook Turret. Saboteur we had, that's nice. Dwarven Castle Guard. Heck Dice. Iron Giant. Magitech Infantry. Ignis Sentia. 1 green and a blue, and when it enters, look at the top 6 cards of the library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then you can pay 1, a green and a blue. Exile target creature from graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, you can create a food token. There's enough text here for it to be interesting in a commander. Not sure if it's actually good. Then we get the Ring of the Lucy, 4 colorless for legendary artifact that taps for 2 colorless. And then you can pay 2 and tap it and pay 1 life to tap target non-land permanent. If you're playing colorless, maybe together with that god we pulled earlier, then this becomes super powerful. I like it. Yes, just uncommon goes in this pile. Prompto Argentum. Human Scout 2/2 with haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, create a treasure token. I'm going to put that in a not good enough pile. Then we have the Emperor of Palamisia. I think that was one of the art cards we also pulled. Blue and a red for 2/2. Taps for a blue or red. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on the Emperor of Palamisia. Then if it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, transform it. The Lord Master of Hell. Demon Noble Wizard 3/3. When it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. Very interesting card for commander. Even just the fact that it's a bit of ramp is nice. Then we have Ishgard, the Holy See. A land town that also has an adventure part. Return up to 2 target artifact and or enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. It enters tapped for white. And it's perhaps an expensive ability, but also it's flexible. You can still play it as a land afterwards. Yeah, interesting. Not sure if it's good enough. Warrior's Thought was not good enough. A town and a clown, almost like a clown superhero art card. All right. See what we get here. Light of Judgment we had. Dwarven Castle Guard. Yeah. Let's see when we get to something that we haven't talked about. World map we had. Sahagin, 1 and a blue for Merfolk Warrior, 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it can't be blocked this turn. Actually, the can't be blocked part can be rather important sometimes, so I'm putting it in the maybe pile. Phantom Train, 3 and a black for 4/4 artifact vehicle with trample. Sacrifice another artifact or creature, put a +1 counter on this vehicle. It becomes a spirit artifact creature in addition to its other types until end of turn. So you get a counter on it, and it kind of crews itself. It has trample. Probably not. It's too much. Really, as Summoner of Mist, a green and a red, and it has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Very good. You can pay X and tap it to return target saga card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Gains haste until end of turn, which for the enchantment creature cards is super important because you get 1 more turn of attacking. I love it. This is potentially super powerful. Then we have Ambrosia Whiteheart, 1 and a white for a bird, 2/2. When it enters, you may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. Could be a card, could be a land, and it also has landfall, flash. Whenever a land you control enters, Ambrosia Whiteheart gets +1/+0 until end of turn. I'm going to put it in the maybe pile because of the potential bird deck. Then we have a side quest for catch a fish, something for some reason you always end up doing in a game, farming for resources. 2 and a white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact, a creature card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you put a card into your hand this way, create a food token and transform this enchantment. Alright, what does it transform into? Cooking Campsite. taps for a white, and then 3 and sacrifice an artifact, put a +1 counter on each creature you control, activate only a sorcery. I mean, when I was reading it initially, I wasn't thinking much of it, but you have good odds of revealing either a creature or an artifact after a turn or two, and then you get a bit of ramp. Might be just interesting enough. Oh, then we have one of the full art. Nice. Vincent Valentine, 2 and 2 black. I do love this poster style. Looks really, really nice. Legendary creature, assassin, 2/2. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on Vincent equal to that creature's power. Whenever Vincent Valentine attacks, you may transform it. Okay, so what happens if we transform it? Galleon Beast. Legendary creature, werewolf beast, trample lifelink. When Galleon Beast dies, return it to the battlefield tapped. Okay, so this will keep the counters. It will gain lifelink. So on the front side, it accrues the counters. Then on this side, you can have lifelink when you attack. And also, if you fear that it might be blocked, you will actually get the front side back, though without the counters. Okay, this is super interesting for Commander. Potentially even for Standard. I like it, and it's beautiful. Magic Damper, a little bit of Hexproof, and then another. Okay, a Waste, basic land. Unsure how those are actually used, but it's nice looking. And then yet another different hero token with a treasure on the backside. Oh wow, I really love the poster cards. I might be inclined to collect them, but I'm going to guess that some of them are super expensive, so that's going to be a moot point. 2 and a black for an instant. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. It's not too expensive. Might just be good enough. A little bit of green ramp. 1 and a green for 1/3 plant beast. Ramp can always be good, but I think I would prefer just finding a land. Then 2 and a blue. Combat tutorial. Target player draws 2 cards. Put a +1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. So pay 3 to draw 2 cards and get a counter. At sorcery speed, there are better cards than this for Commander. Call the Mountain Chocobo. 3 and a red sorcery. Search your library for mountain card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand and then shuffle. Create a 2/2 green bird creature token with whenever a land you control enters. This token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So again, it's not a basic land. It's a mountain. Could be a dual. And you get the bird. And it has flashback where you would get another mountain. Yeah, might just be playable. Paladin's Arm. Sahajin. Vincent's Limit Break. 1 and a black. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains whenever this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So a little bit of combat trick. And it gets chosen base power and toughness. I actually did this in my pre-release, and while it can be good, it's not like plus something. It just changes the power and toughness, so it's not as good as it looks, sadly. So I'm going to put it into the not playable pile. Then we have Summon Anima, 4 and 3 black. And then on the first 3 chapters, you draw a card and you lose a life. Then on the final one, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice and loses 3 life. Very expensive. Yeah, not playable in Commander. The Behemoth, 5 and 2 green for 7/7 with trample, and when it enters, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you can draw a card. I don't know if you're playing a beast deck, if it might just be good enough, but I don't think so. 7 mana is a lot. Orange Inspiration, an instant, 2 and a white. Attacking creatures gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and you can flash it back. So if you're playing something token heavy, it might just be good enough as a combat trick. Unsure. Let's put it in the maybe pile. Summon Shiva for 3 and 2 blue. Tap target creature and opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. I believe we had that one. I'm going to say that's not playable. Then we have the rare 200 blue Jill Shiva's Dominant. I think we had that one already. But an interesting one. Then we have Cat and 200 white, Flying Vigilance, 1/3. As long as you control 2 or more artifacts, and this creature gets +2/+0, not good enough. A dual land and another bird token with another wizard. I think that was our first duplicated rare, if I remember correctly. That's also okay. So far, it hasn't been too bad. Undercity Dire Rat, 1 and a black. And then when this creature dies, create a treasure token. Not good enough. Chobo Kick, yeah, the maybe pile. Tree Vesper was not good enough. Suplex, maybe pile. Oh, another Cat. Black Mage's Rod, 1 and a black. Job select, creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever cast a non-creature spell. Okay, so yeah, this was the wizard creating one. Could be good enough in a wizard deck. Samurai's Katana. Not good enough. Thornberry, Salamander Horror. Not good enough. We had that one. Just Ultimecia Time Sorceress, 3, a blue and a black. When it enters or attacks, surveil 2. And at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 4, 2 blue, and 2 green, and exile 8 cards from your graveyard if you do get to transform it. And then it's a 7/7 with Menace, and when it transforms, take an extra turn. Very expensive, I think, but might be fun. Lindblom, Industrial Regency, Land Town. So at instant speed for 200 red, you can create a wizard token, and then later you can play it as a land. It was actually good to me in the pre-release. Unsure if it's good enough for Commander. Oh, a mythic in a beautiful full art Knights of Sandoria. 1 and 2 white, and it's a reprint of Ranger, Captain of Ears. It's a human soldier ranger, 3/3. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a creature card with mana value 1 or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle, and you can sacrifice it. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Wow, that's nice for Commander, and white actually have very many interesting 1 mana creatures, and the art is beautiful. I mean, that's a very, very nice hit for Commander. Yeah, wow, like it. Alright, the Shapoof we had, with the enchantment with landfall, maybe pile. Oh, a nice mountain with a nice bridge across it. Then we end with the bird token with a wizard on the back. Oh wow, that was a really, really nice card, that one. So we are approaching 1 hour 45 minutes, at least in the raw cut. So this might be the longest opening. Maybe we'll surpass the Lord of the Rings set booster box opening. The Bard's Bow was not good enough for Commander. Neither was a combat tutorial on the Blazing Bomb, the Cat, Sephiroth's Intervention, Sargin. We already had 2 in the maybe pile. Coeurl was not good enough. Travel the Overworld, 5 and 2 blue for sorcery. Affinity for town, draw 4 cards. Yeah, in a town deck could be very cheap draw, so goes into the maybe pile. Clash of the Icons, 1 green, and then you can choose 1 or more. It is sorcery speed though. Target creature you control fights target creature and opponent controls. You can remove a lore counter from target saga you control, or put a lore counter on target saga you control. So you can basically remove one, and then you can add it again, which will make it trigger, or you can do it on multiple. yeah, if you're playing something with sagas, I really like this one, and the art is quite the battle scene as well. Yeah, nice. The crystal's chosen 5 and 2 white. Create 4/1/1 colorless hero creature tokens. Then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature control. So you're actually getting 4 2/2s, and all of your other creatures are getting +1/+1. Sadly, it's sorcery speed and it's super expensive. I'm still going to put it in the maybe pile. It could be a battle swinger at the right time. Then we have Balthur and Fran, one a red and a green. For a human rabbit, 4/3. I guess one is human and one is a rabbit. Reach vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach. Whenever a vehicle crewed by Balthur and Fran this turn attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you may pay one a red and a green. If you do after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, if built around, could be interesting, but also sounds like it's hard to build around. Oh wow, then we get a dark ritual. Oh wow, that has to be a nice pull. Dark Ritual, Darkness of Eternity. Pay 1 black and you get 3 black at instant speed. And in this beautiful art, wow. Yeah, this can fit in any black deck. Wow, that's really, really nice looking. Okay, a couple of good packs lately. Toggle, a Fine Hound, 1 and a green. Whenever you cast your first human creature spell each turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each dog and or wolf you control. And it taps for 1 mana of any color. I mean, mana dogs you can always use. I'm unsure if the dog or wolf part is actually important. Then we have a nice island. So many different lands, and they are all good looking. Then we have a hero token with a bird on the backside. Wow, I think starting to get some very beautiful cards to build around. So that's starting to look good. Just going quickly over the ones that we've already seen. Do like that flexible dinosaur. Cactua. We need one more in the maybe pile for that one. Then we have a 1 blue Ilmec Pixie Fairy, 2/1, flying whenever this creature attacks. So whale 1. There are fairy decks out there, could be interesting. Then we have Summon Esper Ramu, 2 and a red. And then on the first chapter, this creature deals damage equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard to target creature and opponent controls. Wizards you can, and then on the next one, wizards you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's 2 and 2 red. So basically, it is removal. Creature removal on the first step, where you may get bang for your buck, you may get nothing, and then a small ability for wizards. I'm going to say that it's not playable. Oh, different type of full art. Beautiful. Toggle, a Fine Hound, 1 and a green. Yeah, okay, we just had that one. Yeah, and now in this beautiful version, that's definitely the maybe pile. Machinist Arsenal, 4 and a white. Job select, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 for each artifact you control and is an artificer in addition to its other types. I mean, re-equipping it is expensive, but also this could be +20/+20 if you have a lot of artifacts, whether those are equipments or treasure tokens. So yeah, fun to build around. Another girl, another town. Oh, I think that's the first time we've seen that specific hero token. It's a little bit more mean looking than the other ones. And then a treasure on the back. I think we have 12 packs left maybe, so we're only just a little over halfway. Wow. We are being diligent this time around. Thunder Magic, White Mage's Staff, Wayne's Treachery, Baseball shot. Ice flan. And then we had the syncopate, which goes into the maybe pile. Ventures in Capital City. We didn't have that one. Land, town. Tap to add a colorless, and then you can fix mana with it, which can be good in the right decks, and you can cycle it. I think that is playable in some decks for sure. Shambling Seath. 2 and a black for Mutant Horror. 3/3 enters tapped. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't see it in Commander. Ash, Princess of Dalmasca. 2 and a white. Whenever it attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So whenever you attack, you get to look at 5, potentially get 1. I think that's simply too expensive. Gladiolus Mycetia. 4 red. 4 colorless, a red and a green. For 6/6 human warrior. When it enters, search your library for land card, put it onto a battlefield tapped, and shuffle. And landfall, whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until the end of turn. So this is ramp, but it's ramp if you already have 6. And then, I don't know, I think it's unlikely to see play, but I'm putting it in the maybe pile just because of the landfall ability. Then we have Cecil Dark Knight. 1 black for a human knight, 2/3. Death Touch. And whenever it deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it. And then you gain something so that you can get the life back, and it's a 4/4 legendary creature. And other creatures gain indestructible until the end of turn. Oh, wow, that's a lot of value for a 1 black investment. I like that. And then we get 2 rares in this pack. Aerith Gainsborough, 2 and a white. Lifelink, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Always good. Although if you gain 9 life, this is still only 1 counter. And then when it dies, you get to put the counters on each legendary creature you control. Wow. Okay. So you need something where legendaries matters, and you need to gain life. Yeah, it could be fun. Oh, another mountain with another nice bridge. And then we get an art card. Oh, somebody's shooting something. I don't know why it's flying backwards. This part is getting too, maybe part is getting too big, so I'll just move it over here so that it doesn't fall over completely. Let's see. That one we had, and the Cloudborn, Sephiroth, Commune with Beavers, Dreams of Laguna, Iron Giant, Monk's Fist, Summon Fenrir. 2 and a green for an enchantment creature, 3/2, and you get to search your library for basic land that goes onto the battlefield. And then when you next cast a creature spell, it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. And then on the last chapter, you draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. So as minimum, you get 1 land. You get hopefully a creature with a +1. And then you get to draw, if everything lines up, but I don't think it does. This goes in the not playable pile. Valkyrie Aerial Unit, 5 and 2 blue, artifact creature construct, affinity for artifacts, flying when it enters surveil 2. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, in an artifact heavy deck, it might just be side quest. We had that one. Triple Triad. 3 and 3 red enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Each player exiles the top card of the library until end of turn. You may play the card you own exiled this way and each other card exiled this way with lesser mana value than it without paying the cost. Okay, so this can like cause really random chaos where I can suddenly play a lot of things, but it is also expensive. I don't know if you can cheat it out. Might be fun. Oh, and we get another mythic in that slot. Wow, Clive Rosefield, Vile Smasher, the Fierce, one a black and a red. Wow, look at that art. That's pretty damn neat. Goblin Berserker 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, choose an opponent at random. Clive Roosevelt deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to that player, or a planeswalker that player controls, and it has partner. Oh wow, that's nice. Very, very, very beautiful card. And very playable. I think for me that's the ideal combination. Beautiful cards that you can fit in decks is excellent. Then we have Item Shopkeep, 1 and a red, Human Citizen 2/2. Whenever you attack, target attacking equipped creature gains menace until end of turn. No thank you for commander. Then we get Insomnia City again. And the mean hero token with a wizard on the back. I think it feels like we've been quite lucky with the full arts, a couple of mythics on that, even though it's in a slot where we shouldn't expect a lot. But maybe everybody is that lucky. Oh, this one is new. 3 and a white sorcery. You can create 3/1/1 colorless hero creature tokens. Or you can tap up to 3 target creatures, put a stun counter on one of them. If it had been an instant, yes. Sorcery speed, no. Had the red. Vincent's Limit Breath, Syncopath. Lionheart for 4. When this equipment enters, it deals 2 damage to any target. An equipped creature gets +2/+1. It equips for 2. Saying not good enough for commander. Stolen Uniform, that was also new. Instant, choose target creature you control and target equipment. Gain control of that equipment until end of turn. Attach it to the chosen creature. When you lose control of that equipment this turn, if it's attached to a creature you control, unattach it. Okay, so you can steal a piece of equipment for 1 turn. I'm guessing in sealed it's powerful. Is there enough equipment generally in commander for this to be meaningful? The thing is, it's instant speed, so it can be very swingy in the right combat. I think for that matter, I'll put it in the maybe pile. We have Garnet, Princess of Alexandria, a green and a white for a human noble cleric 2/2, lifelink. And whenever it attacks, you may remove a law counter from each of any number of sagas you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on Garnet for each law counter removed this way. Oh wow. Very interesting in a saga heavy deck. Yeah, I like it. And Omega Heartless Evolution. We had that one. Doubtful, but it's beautiful. Maybe pile. Image Cells we also had. But it's a mythic, so it goes over here. Fate of the Suncrist, 4 and a white. For an instant, it costs 2 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature. Not good enough for commander. Another town. Wow, so like a giant tree with a house in the middle. I don't know, maybe it's a city hall. Like it. Oh, sorry for jumping the camera there. Oh, and another hero token. Yeah, some feathers, a nice treasure. Right. Let's see, this one is a little bit harder to open. I don't know. Do you get addicted to the sound of packs being opened like I do? This one that was too expensive. Warrior's Sword, Fate, Corner by Black Mages, the Magic Pot. 1/4. When this creature dies, create a treasure token. Yeah, we also had that one. Venture's Airship. Titus Blitzball Star, 1, a white and a blue. For 2/1 human warrior. When an artifact control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Titus. And when it attacks, tap target creature opponent controls. Yeah, certainly. Certainly maybe playable in the right deck. Just move the camera back a little bit so it doesn't mess with the piles. Sorry about that. The UFO we had swallowed by. Yeah, but actually the UFO is nice land ramp as well. Let's put it in the maybe pile. Swallowed by Leviathan. We had that one. Choose target spell, surveil 2, then counter the chosen spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. I think we have better counters than that. Black Walls number 3, yeah, that's good. 2, a black and a red, flying death touch, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Black Walls number 3 deals 2 damage to each opponent. Yeah, classic black-red card. Then we have Edgar, King of Figaro, 4 and 2 blue. When it enters, draw a card for each artifact you control. And then the first time you flip 1 or more coins each turn, those coins come up heads and you win those flips. Yeah, so in a coin flip deck, it's good. Probably nowhere else. Another Mage's Rod. Oh, another. Okay, the foiling is actually quite nice on this town. Yeah, nice. And oh, was it called a Moogle, I think? Either way, it's cute. Let's see. Oh, the Summon Fat Chocobo we had. Ice Flan, Suplex. Yeah, it was called a Moogle. Black Mages. Precious Wanderings. Search your library for a... Yeah, okay, we also had that one. The Fire Magic is actually interesting. 1 red deals 1 damage to each creature. Then you can pay 2 more for it to deal 2 damage to each creature. So it could be cheap token removal. Definitely goes in the maybe pile. Overkill. 2 and a black instant. Target creature gets -0, -999 until end of turn. Specifically because it goes around indestructible. This could be interesting to have. Tia we had. Lock Cole, 1 blue and a black. Human Rogue 2/3. Death Touch Lifelink. Whenever Lock Cole deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. I mean, that's kind of neat because you kind of force them to block. I like it. Ultima. 3 and 2 white. Sorcery, destroy all artifacts and creatures end the turn. I don't know what significance the end of turn has, since it is sorcery speed. But, I mean, removal is always good. Oh, then we get another one of these. A Promise Fulfilled, 2 and a red. Reprint of Light Up the Stage. Sorcery with Spectacle, which I don't know what does. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. It's sorcery speed. I'm unsure if it's good. I'll put it in the maybe pile for the art. Sahagin we had. Then, oh, didn't we almost see that? But was the crystals on the last time? Actually unsure. Nice swamp nonetheless. And then the mean hero and a Moogle token. That's the first one. So we're down to the last 3 packs in this very long and very thorough opening, but I hope you like it as I do. This one was not good enough. Not good enough. Let's see. Sorcery, 1 and a green. Gisel's green. Create a 2/2 green bird creature token. Then it has flashback, but the flashback is expensive. Town Greeter we had. Lunatic Pandora is in the maybe pile. Queena Kogome, 2 and a green. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 green frog creature token are created instead. And then you can pay 2 and sacrifice a frog to put a +1/+1 counter on Quina. Probably not playable, but let's put it in the maybe pile. Barrett we had. I think that's better than a maybe pile. Then we have Evil Reawakened 4 and a green. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. As an instant, it would have been great. I think I'll still put it in the maybe pile. Restoration Magic, 1 white. Target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible. Nice. Target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and you gain 3 life. Even better. And then you can give everything you own hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn and gain 6 life. So of course that's nice. It is quite a lot more expensive than something like Heroic Intervention, but could be a bit surprising to have in white. So let's do that. Summon Brynhildir, 1 and a red. And then you get to exile the top card of your library. During any turn, you put a law counter on this saga. You may play that card, okay? And when you cast a creature spell this turn, it gains haste until end of turn. It's not too expensive. I'm going, yeah, nice. Then we have Elixir, that's good. Victorial Capital, Vector Imperial Capital, Land Town, enters tapped. Again, nice foiling. Oh, kind of like a full art card. All right. Down to the last 2 packs. Let's see. So let's see when we get to something that we haven't seen. Crossroads Villages can go over to the land. Lunatic Pandora. Torgal, Finer Hound. Sorcerer's Schemes. Summon Primal Garuda. 3 and a white. And this creature deals 4 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls. Not for commander. The Prime Vista. 4 and a blue. We had that one. Yeah, it was too expensive. Oh, beautiful. Wow. Ultima Origin of Oblivion. 5 colorless legendary creature god. Oh, that was the one we had earlier, but in this super nice art. Okay, that is actually very good looking. I don't know if that's the last full art we get, but if it is, it's going to be a nice one to end on. Another hero token, young hero in this case. I guess young people can be heroes as well. A final pack would be nice if we pulled that other half of that milk card. Let's see what else we might get in this final pack. Oh, the Judge, Magister, Gabranth, Menace. Whenever another artifact or creature control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Judge. And I mean, yeah, so this could also just be sacking a treasure token. That's playable. We may have already had it. Choco Comet, X and 2 red. Choco Comet deals X damage to any target. Create a 2/2 green bird creature token with whenever land you control. I'm going to say that's too expensive. Gaius van Balsa, 2 and 2 black. For 3/2, and when it enters, choose one. Each player sacrifices a creature token. Each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Each player sacrifices an enchantment. Okay, so kind of flexible in removal, goes around, hexproof. Yeah, nice for commander. Then we have Sin's Spear's Punishment, 4, a black, a green, and a blue for legendary creature, Leviathan Avatar for 7/7 flying. When it enters or attacks, exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random, then create a tapped token that's a copy of that card. If the exile card is a land card, repeat this process. So you get a copy of something, only one copy of the same thing because it gets exiled. but you get a minimum of 1. It could be something expensive, it could be a land, but then it repeats. I mean, yeah, again, causing a little bit of random chaos in Commander. I tend to like that. That's always fun. Oh, and then we get a starting town. I was actually hoping to pull that one. This land enters tapped unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game. So, yeah, if it comes early, you'll get the mana right away. And then the most important thing is that you can pay 1 life and you can get 1 mana of any color. So it is mana fixing and early game even untapped. That's super powerful. Then we have Eden, Seat of the Sanctum, Land Town, and Airship Kingdom, Baron, also Land Town. And then we're ending on a hero token that I don't think we have seen, and then a horror token. Let me move the box out of the way, and then let's just count. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 37 rares in just 30 packs. That's, I don't know if it's different for Final Fantasy, but for other sets it's definitely above average, I think. And then we got 6 mythics, which also seems good. So I think this was excellent opening, and there's definitely some cards that we can consider building around later on. So thank you for watching this. We'll open a bit more Final Fantasy later, and then we should get hopefully into the card sorting and building. For now, take care of yourself until we see each other the next time.